This is how much we know about movies. We just if you want a raw review of movies, you're getting it right here because we don't know shit.
Dad! Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. Is that like nostalgia purposes for kids these age?
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
We get that, Pop.
Fine, I'll Google it through the magic of podcasting.
You don't have to Google it. I'm just saying, you just take it out.
No.
Not bring it out, or just be better prepared.
Now I'm shut your fucking mouth.
I am your father.
Man, sometimes I wish like things would stay at a simpler time mentality.
Welcome to the Two Dads Review podcast. All right, Corey. I see your episode 3 claim of best episode ever in the series, and I raise you what is actually the best episode in the series, which is episode 4. The entire series of American Horror Story. And let me tell you why that is for me personally. I fucking hate flashbacks. If I'm watching a movie, if you want to tell me how you got to where you were, you fucking start back there and you show it to me. That's how I feel when I watch movies.
Okay, so what about a flash forward? Like, what if it was, hey, we're telling the story of young Joe the cop, blah, 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 you get his beat, bam, fade to black, fast forward 25 years.
I'm fine with that.
Now all of a sudden it's all old Joe cop.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
It's only the flashback, because I don't need it to all... I don't need you to tell me how he got to where he is. I'll just believe you of why he's there. Like, I'm cool with that, but don't start me on a story and then take me away from it. Or it's not nearly as bad as like where you show me the finale and then tell me how he got there and I'm like, I don't even care. This episode had flashbacks in flashbacks and I don't care. It was that fucking good. This episode was that damn good that I was like, I need more flashbacks. I want to see all this. I've realized now that we've watched, the only thing we're going to have is the episode 10 is going to be back to our current present of the timeline. Everything else should just be how we got here and all the crazy shit that happened.
It's true. And
I'm all about it. I could not stop on Twitter. I was like, fucking best episode fucking ever. This is the greatest. I couldn't help it. It was great. I have not seen an episode of this caliber in a very long time from American Horror Story.
Okay, all right. Now I got a question for you.
Okay.
So, is this episode better than anything Star Trek put out this last go around that you were so hyped for?
Than any of the episodes for Discovery?
Yeah, for any of the episodes of Discovery. Can you think of one that was better than this American Horror Story?
Oh, I can think of plenty that are better than it because I like Star Trek better, but there are a few that were some stinkers from the season that I'll say this is better.
Okay, all right. See, I was trying to see.
There are plenty.
Because I know how much you bleed Star Trek that it's I don't know, it's like arguing with the holy man, you know, you're not going to change your mind. Like, so I was curious where, like, if you would have went like, dude, this one was better than anything I watched in the season. Like, don't get me wrong, that season was good, but based on just episodes, if you would have told me one, like, that was better than the whole, like, any of they came out in the season, I'd been like, holy shit, dude, he fucking loves this episode.
No, it's a fantastic episode, and I would rank it up there with, I'll go out on a limb and say that it's one of the better episodes of television I've seen in the past decade. And I watch a shit ton of television. Because of what they've done the first 3 episodes, this episode paid off so much, yet still didn't, like, blow all of our questions way too early in the season. Like, we have all these questions that have built up in the first 3 episodes, and we've talked about, like, we don't have answers to anything. We know more now, but I just want to know more. It's like Starship Troopers, where it's like, want to know more? Click here. Like, it's that. It's like, so yeah, right. I can't help it. I thought it was great. I've been waiting for an episode like this for a while, and we got it. And I want to hear your, because if you didn't listen to our podcast last week, number 1, shame on you. Number 2, Corey called last week's episode one of the best episodes of American Horror Stories in the season for sure, but almost possibly in the series is what you said last week.
Did last week's episode was a like instant claim to number one on any American Horror Story season. Like, I would go into a tournament with that episode and go, I guarantee I will be in the top 3 with this episode. It may not hit number 1, but damn it if it wouldn't give a try. And I would say most of the time it probably will walk away with number 1. Now, this episode, I gotta go, hey man, I've been training you for a while, but it looks like it's not gonna happen. Your younger brother is actually the savior. So I'm gonna go train him now.
Okay, so you have now usurped last week's comment with this week's episode. You are now on the vote for episode 4.
Yeah, I watched this episode and I was like, I may actually say I like TV again. Mm-hmm. You know, like, damn. I went, if I could find more things that gave me that on a regular basis, I probably wouldn't be sad ever.
No, it's so much good stuff, and I don't know if it's not fair that if you didn't watch Coven, it's not a mystery that I haven't watched Roanoke or Hotel. Those are the 2 seasons I have not watched yet. Not by choosing, just by the sheer fact that I got behind and did not get a chance to get to those yet with how my schedule and kids and everything else work out. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I need to get to it. Is it fair that if you haven't watched Coven, maybe this episode is not as impressive to you as it could be?
No, because I think even without knowing anything about them, and let's face it, even if this is the first season you're coming in on,
shame.
Well, yeah, but just the fact that witches have been just splattered across, you know, the internet, like, you kind of probably get an idea, so I don't think it's that much of a stretch. But let's just say you're coming in like total blinders on, you've never seen or heard anything, and this is your first time in front of a television. Even then, I don't think you need to know about Coven.
Okay.
Because, like, Coven was really more just kind of like, who's going to be the next Supreme? Not really anything with the Warlocks and shit like that. And so this just kind of comes in, and especially since you see Mallory do what she does before we see any of the witches. Right. You go, okay, well, superpowers are involved. And then when those 3 show up, you just go, oh, they're witches. Got it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, instead of, oh, they're mutants, or, oh, like, what other crazy thing is, like, you just go, oh, she's got magic.
So you said something that I wanted to touch on. I wanted your opinion on. During the entire season of Coven, we never heard a single thing about warlocks at all. And
I don't think we did, unless it was in some like offhanded side comment, like, are there male witches? And they're like, oh, you know, they're warlocks, but they're nothing, you know, like this, like, because I do think the lady with the red hair that always talks like, Myrtle. Oh, it's such a drab, you know, like her.
She's the best.
I do think she in Coven made some kind of offhanded comment, like, even the weakest witch is stronger than the like strongest warlock, like, don't worry about it kind of comment.
Okay.
You know, like, but when you watch the episode, she says it in such a way where you go, oh, dude, like, warlocks aren't even fucking real, because she's so sarcastic about it. Mm-hmm. You know, so if it was in there, I don't think anybody would have really grasped it as like, ooh. So when they watched this season, I don't think they would have jumped back and connected that dot, because it was just a minor detail, if anything.
Right. And it was just another, like, I don't want to accuse the writers of American Horror Story for being like man haters, but I swear to God, this is like 2 seasons in a row where if not most episodes of the season, if a few of them at a time are like men are worthless. And it's like, okay, I don't know how many times and how many different types of men, whether it be like the men from like cults, like just all men in general, or if we're talking about just warlock men, but like, because like, like, do we have to always hate men? Like, do we really, please?
You know, dude, like,
I understand right now why most folks hate men, but shit.
No, I think it's a good thing. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
because no one ever checks themselves until they get called out, right? Like, if no one ever says shit to you, you don't fucking do it. But the fact that mainstream television is starting to hammer home male stereotypes, where mainstream television has hammered home every fucking female stereotype in the world, whether it's a hooker, a housewife, a mother, like, they're all limited. They all can't do the great things that every guy fucking can. Like, they've literally been told no their whole goddamn life. And now we got some TV that's actually telling men that, hey, your shit that you've been fucking reiterating your whole goddamn life through cycles and cycles and cycles of no one ever saying a thing. Well, you're gonna fucking listen now. We have people that are saying it. You need to hear it. And that's why it bothers you. Not because, like, I'm not saying like you specifically, but people in general, and guys are like, oh, they're always fucking female hating. Nah, dude, like, this is what happens when stereotypes against you get used against you. Even if you're not a bad guy, like, right? Like Asian drivers or fucking whatever, like, offhanded side comment you want to make. Like, you instantly lump a whole group, but when that kind of shit happens on a regular basis, it's kind of the truth, you know, and it needs to be heard. Like, it's there. And I kind of laugh because it almost like makes me go, I need to figure some shit out, man. Like, you know, like, maybe I'm not a really nice guy, or Jesus, have I been hanging out with dudes that are just like, you know, pieces of shit my whole life and I never knew the difference? You know, I just think it's a getting used to period for dudes. Like, this is a big thing of, you've always had it your way. You've always literally had the whole pie. Like, white males literally have had the whole pie, and everybody's speaking up against it. And I mean, fuck, dude, like, it's almost hard when you think some of the nicest people you've ever, you know, met in your life are like all of a sudden caught on these sex scandals, and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, Bob, what the fuck were you doing on the side, man? Like, I saw you and you shook my hand and you seem like a swell guy, but you're telling me you fucking been sticking your hand up Susan's skirt for the past 13 years, sexually harassing her? Like, what the fuck, man? You know?
Right.
Yeah. I just think it's the horn being blown, and dudes need to fucking hear it.
I get it. And I mean, even with the stuff going on, like, right now, the Kavanaugh hearings that just finished up and all the vote, even though he got put through, like, my wife and I were having a conversation. I'm like, I'm having to think back. I'm like, is there anything, like, did I ever, like, I never did shit like that, though. Like, that's not normal. Like, the shit he's being accused of, like, I'm like, that's not a normal everyday thing. I'm like, I haven't done anything like that. Like,
no, I mean,
what she was describing, like, that's not, I was like,
no,
you know,
but I mean,
you think back and it's like, this guy acts like it's so nonchalant. And I'm like, I don't think I ever did that. You know, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but there's, you know, dudes that it's, you know, drinking is most of the time involved. And let's face it, dude, most people under the influence of alcohol just don't give a fuck after a certain point. Like, and it is just, I want. And that's that. And, you know, I mean, that's not an excuse, but that is the normal incidence. Is that as long as I've known you, I've never seen you get fucking hammered out of your mind, like, where you would black out, right? Like, because in most of these cases, when alcohol is involved, the guy always goes, I don't really remember shit. You know? So, okay, you're telling me everybody fucking blacked out? Right. But
right. Even if you black out, I don't know people who, like, black out and then suddenly are accused of forcefully holding their hand over someone's mouth, and, you know, it's like, I don't think that's necessarily all the time when you black out. Usually you just go sleep somewhere.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, I like rough sex. Like, but I'll tell you what, dude, being a person that likes rough sex, like, if you're going to try to be involved with someone on that, like me personally, I try to get as much information out of, like, that category. Like, when I already kind of know sex may be on the table, like, I'm straight up like, hey man, you know, hit me, fuck it, whatever. Like, I'm okay with that kind of shit. Like, if you slap the hell out of me, and then they'll usually go, all right, cool. And you're like, all right, I know where you're at. Or they'll go, what? And you're like, okay, no, I know. Hey, just joking. Haha, I was just playing. Like, you know, I know you're nowhere near any of that.
Right. Like, we're going to be friends now.
Yeah. But yeah, to just go, I'm going to cover her up. So no, you know, like that's just, that's fucking weird, dude. Something's wrong. This is deeply wrong.
I also loved it. Did you watch any of it? Or like, did you maybe, okay, let me back up. Did you watch like the Last Week Tonight? Is that the name of the show that what's his name does? The British guy from the Daily Show, John Oliver.
No, I mean I don't. Watch any of that stuff.
He has his like weekend like Sunday show on.
Yeah, he's
HBO.
got a show. Yeah, he's got an HBO show. Yeah,
Last Week Tonight. So like he took like the entire episode and put it. You know, usually there's a few like other stories at the beginning. He just pretty much took the entire episode and did it on everything about Kavanaugh. And I realize whoever's hollering at their fucking phone or car right now. Like, I realize that it's skewed left. John Oliver it's going to be skewed to the left. I understand that. But, like, some of the, like, just watching Kavanaugh, like, describe the stuff in his journal that are blatant sex positions and sexual things, it's like, that's a drinking game. Like, it's fucking not a drinking game, dude. Like, I can Google it right now. It's not a fucking drinking game.
Well, dude, okay, like, yeah, so let's just, like, we'll go into a little conspiracy theory on that, like, right? Like, it's amazing how everybody in the fucking world knows what those terms mean. Like, even 80-year-old grandmothers would be like, yeah, dude, that's not a drinking game. Like,
that's not a drinking game.
And then the best part was, like, on Wikipedia or wherever the words were, there was an edit, like, marked from, like, the White House, like, because it tells you where it's coming from, you know, like, when the changes are made on Wikipedia or whatever. So, and it literally was adding drinking game. Like, you're sitting there going, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? And
do you not know how the internet works?
Well, no, yeah. And the fact that this dude got elected and weird shit like that happens, it tells me two things. Either it is insanely corrupt what is happening right here. Like, this is a Hydra situation going on type deal. And the people that aren't in an uproar about this, like, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, but the way this man has conducted himself in general, and everyone he's appointed fucking down has conducted themselves in general. If you can't look at them and just go, that's a bad human being, or if you look at them and like have children and go, yeah, I want my son to be like that, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
You know, and it's amazing how that just blindness fucking so somehow winning, because like I remember people like posting stats of the majority vote and then how it compared to like the popular vote and all this shit, and even with like the voting in of Kavanaugh, when you look at what the majority wants right now, like they can't get it because the fucking Republicans hold all this shit over here. It's insane, right, dude. Like, and this thing to me, I feel like in 20 years time, no matter what happens, like let's say he even wins another term and rolls out.
Oh, like, are we talking about Trump now?
Yeah, like Trump in general, or just Republicans in general right now, and it being if it is like a Trump sponsored dude, right? This potentially next 8 years will be something 20 years from now will be in history books and will be on high school exams and will be in middle school talking about what happened somewhere, no matter how it goes down. Like, whether someone ends up figuring out that he really rigged the whole thing, or the fact that he just wrote out the 8 years and then somehow went out and lived his life. Like, it's going to be in the books. Like, this whole thing has so many holy shit, like Kennedy moments in it. You know, I'm just waiting for, not saying like somebody to die, but like Watergate, you know, that was huge. You know, Kennedy was huge. The shit that's going on with Trump right now is huge. Like, we're living in history. Like, right now, it is fucking bonkers, man.
Yeah, it's insane. I know we have a few listeners who don't live in the U.S. like Buffy, but we're sorry. We're sorry, Buffy Ann. We know you live in Norway. We know this means absolutely shit to you. We apologize for getting to American politics.
I don't know, dude, man. Fucking American politics have
some people, but see,
such catastrophic potentials across the globe in general that, like, the shit he's saying when, you know, like, we'll rain hellfire down on North Korea, like, that's everybody. Everybody wakes the fuck up for that. Like, I don't care where you're at, you know?
I'm sorry, what? What did he say?
Yeah. You're talking about flying some shit across my land to go kill him with some really bad shit? Whoa, what the fuck? No, like, everybody wakes up for that kind of crap.
Right. Oh, man.
Oh, look at us.
Jesus. Yeah, don't look over.
That's what we get for fucking talking about cult, man. Just fucking took us down that goddamn rabbit hole.
Right. Just don't look towards the US for like the next 6 years. Just chill. Cause
yeah, man, like, and I just there's
enough blind backwoods folks who are gonna fucking vote him in for a second term. We're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah,
and I'm not a fucking Democrat. There are plenty. Okay, because I know people are like, well, fuck this guy. He's a fucking left son of a bitch. Okay, look, I'm a fucking gun owner, but I don't have a problem with gay people. Like, I like marijuana. I don't smoke it because that one time they'll actually piss test me at work. So I don't know why, but I just don't. But the minute that shit goes legal, I'm fucking on board. But like, it needs to be legalized. Like, I am Green Party. Like, I am socially advanced and fiscally conservative. I understand that fucking, like, I am not on board with either of them. I didn't vote for Hillary. Don't yell at me for that. I voted for a third party. I'm sorry. I don't care if you think it's throwing it away. The fact that you think it's throwing it away means it's never going to work. We're going to have to pick one or the other, which is like, do you want your leg amputated above or below the knee? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, they all suck. So we have to get a third party worked into the US. That's just the way it's got to happen. And the more people think it's a joke, it's never going to happen. So go with what you fucking go with, whether or not it's going to be 2% of the whole vote. I don't care. We're the 2 fucking sane percent, okay? Jesus, I just need to get that off my chest. It's like I'll listen to podcasts, listen to radio and shit, and people will be I'm like, you fucking crazy blind son of a, like, just right wing, like, just eye of blind, like, every church that, like, every time you go to a church that's like conservative any church that's like, yeah, Trump's cool, like, you're talking about a fucking hypocrite and a goddamn cheating piece of shit, and you're gonna be like, but that's fine because he likes not killing babies. It's like, okay, dude, like, I can't even fucking look at you right now. Like, well, I don't understand.
That's why there's so many off branches of religion.
Yeah, right. We didn't like what you were doing, so we're gonna switch that shit up. Oh man. Okay, let's see. Let's get into the shit. Let's get into the episode now. Let me see how we're gonna do this.
All right, hold on. All right,
go ahead.
So since we were talking politics, and we actually kind of got into some of our own points of views in politics.
If this is your first time listening, we don't do this a lot, but it does kind of leak in. We're just mid-30s, late 30s dads. We don't have a whole bunch of, like, old man political views, but damn it.
Yeah, we are rabbit hole people, so if something gets triggered in us, like, just hang on, because that's where we're going for a little while.
Yeah.
So to follow up our views on people, got a great story.
Okay.
Got a great story. So, I ordered the UFC fights.
Mm-hmm.
None of my friends showed up. No one came. It's cool. Because, like, at least everybody was like, I got shit going on. I was like, I respect it, man. Kids, power up. No big deal, right? But I told my dad about it the night before the fights when we were at the football game. So I'm watching the, like, prelims. My dad told me he'd come to the fight. I was like, all right, cool, man. I think a couple of people still showing up that made it there before I got messages, later in the day telling me that they weren't going to be here.
Right.
So I'm like watching the prelims, like prelims were over. I get through like the first fight of the main undercard, like my dad's not there. I was like, all right. I was like, damn, dude, even my own man fucking forgot about me. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, ugh, this sucks. So like the main card's going and my dad calls me and he goes, hey, baby. I go, hey, Dad, what's up? He goes, I just want to let you know I'm sorry. I actually forgot you. I forgot about the fights. I just want to let you know I'm really sorry. And, I didn't mean to. And I'm laughing. I'm like, it's okay, Dad. Like, I talked to you earlier in the day and, you told me you were working and doing some shit. I just figured you were tired or whatever. And then he goes, no, I wasn't tired. I literally forgot about you. And I was like, okay. And then he goes on to tell me what captured his attention. He was talking about the college football games going on this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, Dad. I was like, well, that's no big deal. I'm watching the fights, man. I'm, just tweeting about it. It's cool. Don't worry. I love you. He's like, all right, I love you too. And right before the main fight fucking happens, all of a sudden I hear my gate open. I'm like, who the fuck is coming into my courtyard? I'm like, what the shit? My dog's going bananas. And my dad just opens the fucking door like he owns the house, walks right in my front door, snacks in hand, and goes, I'm so sorry, I forgot about you, babe, but I'm here for the fight, and sits down, hands me a Diet Mountain Dew and a bag of chips, man. I was like, you're fucking best.
You're the best dad ever.
I'm so sorry I forgot you, but I didn't want you to be alone for the fight, so I came over. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I mean, I know my dad doesn't live far away, but it's just the fact that he was like, I forgot about him, but I said I'd do it, and showed his ass up to come watch the fight with me.
Yeah. Sorry, dude, I had to come, but I was at a wedding with all my kids, which was not my choice whatsoever, because weddings are not a place for children.
I don't even remember if you told me that or even if you did, but I remember talking to you and reading, you saying, yeah, this fucking wedding or some shit, talking about, how it's in the weekend or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, that sucks. You're in a wedding. Weddings are the worst, dude. I hate weddings.
They're the worst. I will do the best I can to instill in my children that wasting 10 to 30 to even more $1,000 on a one day is the dumbest shit you could ever fucking do, and I ain't doing it for you. Don't come to me for the fucking money.
It should be done like I did it,
or like I did it.
How'd you do it? Well, you did the all inclusive thing, right?
Right. You spend spend 7 days in Jamaica at a resort, and the wedding is free.
Yeah,
and that's the best shit ever.
Yeah, so if you got it, if you got a group of people that can afford a destination wedding,
no, you have to not care who can afford it. They want to come, great. They don't want to come, I don't care. They'll pull some guys out of the thing in bathing suits to be your witnesses. I don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, but okay. I mean, either way, then. So, how much did you spend on your wedding?
Like $3.5 grand, including flight.
That's not
and
bad.
I spent all being said, her dad gave us $5 grand and said, do what you can with it. This is the money I have for every kid set aside for their wedding. And we're like, well, shit, with this, we can do this, and we can put a patio in at the house. So, yeah, that's where that money went to. But yeah, with plane, including, but this is 2008, so prices and things have changed, but it's,
Yeah, I mean, because I just did the fucking court dude came to the house or whatever, those fucking guys are, and had the wedding at my parents' house. And then we didn't invite any friends except for the closest of the close. Anybody else that was just considered a friend, we just said, meet us at the bar at 9 p.m. or whatever the fuck it was, 8 p.m. And our gift was a $3,000 just open bar. Go to fucking town on it. And then the best part is my friends started getting drunk and they wanted to help me out. And they're like, so man, I put another $1,000 on the bar tab to help you out, man. I was like, no, motherfucker. That just opens the bar up for the rest of you assholes to keep drinking. If you want to help me out, put the $1,000 on the tab. Don't keep opening the fucking thing. I was like, you jackasses.
It's not how money works.
Give me the money. Pay me back if you want to help me out. You're just keep the bar tab alive.
You are now no longer a friend.
But yeah, that's what I did, man. But I couldn't imagine a big fucking show of it, like you see in the movies, or having to have one of those special places, I have to get married here. This is exactly how it's going to be. I think if I ran into a girl and we were talking marriage, if we even got to that part and she already started rattling off shit, immediately, that would probably be my end all be all right there. I'd be like, no, you got way too much shit planned out in the future. Nah, I'm all right.
There's no way that's happening. I could put a down payment on a house and or pay off a vehicle, which at that point you should not be doing what you're doing for one day of It's My Pretty Pretty Princess Day. I'm so fucking sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that I have to say that out loud. But it's literally, like, if you have the right man, you get treated like that every day anyways.
Yeah, like, and well, that's the other thing, too, man. Like, if you got the money to afford that, right? I mean, and let's throw it out. Like, let's exclude the grandparents that had been saving forever for grandchildren already. Like, they just were like, we're going to have grandkids. So they went ahead and set aside a thing for them or whatever. And even the parents that set aside stuff knowing that, oh shit, we had a daughter. Oh, we had a boy. We're going to have to pay for a fucking wedding or college or whatever, you know? So they made up all their little funds. But the people that normally can go to these fucking things already live a very princess or king-like lifestyle in general, man. Like, you're just blowing money at that point because you fucking can. Like, that's all there is to it.
What the problem is the ones I almost understand that group of people. The problem is that that's not who it is specifically doing it. It's the
well, that's what I'm saying. Then you have the other people that go, I want that type of wedding, but only have a little percentage of it because, you know, they just, instead of them having a really nice, say, $25,000 wedding or $30,000 wedding, because that's what people saved up, they want a $60, $70, $80, $100,000 wedding.
Even $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 wedding, do something better with that money. Don't do it on a wedding. I'm talking people who are like, this is all we have. Like, there are plenty of people, folks, who are like, this is all we have. Like, I'm starting after this wedding, we're starting at zero, baby. We're starting from the bottom because I ain't got shit now, and my parents ain't got shit now either. And now my dad's gonna go back to work. I mean, I don't know. Like, that amount of money is paying off a car. It is starting on a down payment for a house. It is a lot better things than one fucking day.
Yeah, man, because, you know, I don't give a fuck when anybody says lifetime of memories or whatever. Statistically, a lot of you are going to regret that decision in the long run. Right. So maybe not waste that money on a lifetime of memories.
Yeah, make them every day. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can never get, and we talked about it last week. I don't know why we did, but like, I'm on my second marriage. I was married young while I was in the Marine Corps for a very short amount of time. That was a large wedding. Like, that number you just gave out, not the 60s, but the other one, like, that's what we're talking about. And It's like, or we could just get a car. Like, what do you do? Like, and then for it to like fall apart in a short amount of time, it's like, what was that for?
Yeah, I had a buddy that took a loan out for his fucking wedding.
Holy shit, oh my God. Okay. There is no, like, there is, man, we are so far down this rabbit hole. I don't even know how we got here. Like, this is not even what we need to be talking about right now. Jesus, if you have to take out a loan for that kind of shit, like, you're with the wrong girl. Because that means you're good. And if you're the guy who wants a pretty, pretty princess day for your, like, get the fuck over it. Like, don't.
I got two cases in this situation. I got a buddy that when he was like, he didn't meet his significant other until he actually like had a pretty good fucking job, right? Mm-hmm. But he wasn't old, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't like 40 or 30. He was 26, something like that, maybe. And like, he was smart. He put money aside like for his wedding. And I was like, all right, dude, that's fucking cool. But he had like, I think the wedding that they wanted, like that his wife wanted, was a little more than he had. So he took out a tiny loan to like make it happen for her. I asked him, I was like, why are you doing that? He's like, I fucking love her, man. Like, it was simply put, blind love. Like, I was like, all right, I respect it. Like, that's your choice. He did it. Granted, he also had a good job. So like, he could just easily turn right back around and fucking pay it off. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I got a 5-year loan. He's like, dude, I'm gonna have it paid off in 7 months. I was like, so to me, I'd rather make my wife happy and then just go, hey, baby, we got a little fucking bill for a while. Like, take it easy, you know, kind of thing. And then I have another buddy that like fucking went Nigerian prince, like scam artist shit to make his fucking wedding happen.
Now I want to know.
Dude, he like, how did this? Well, okay, I shouldn't call him my buddy because that makes me sound like I'm associated with this criminal. No, so a guy I fucking knew, and then found out basically like what he did. So he was always seemed to be in trouble with like this. How do I explain this? He was like a dad that had a second family, right? So he lived pretty fucking well, and then he would go play it poor, and was always like, but he would play himself poor, not go like hang out with people that were actually poor. He would play like, hey, I'm in the nice school district, but my parents live outside of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not the rich kid in the area, but somehow he's fucking zoned for it kind of vibe, right?
Right.
So he would always ask for handouts. Like, hey, man, I need help. And like, dude, he was just basically panhandling to this whole other group of like middle-class family friends. And they were just dropping fucking money out for him to like, he'd be like, oh, and it was major shit. I'm not talking like he was doing this as like a kid and pre-planning. This was like, hey man, I need $2 fucking grand because I'm about to get thrown out of my apartment, blah, 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 blah. And then would yank money from that group of people he fucking set up and then would disappear on them. And like, and then all of a sudden old Tom would return back to the neighborhood and fucking whole another group of friends, and he would have another problem and need some money, and like people would in their kind hearts would fucking pitch in and help him out, and he just kind of fucking bounced around, and that's how he paid for his wedding. It was insane. I remember one of my fraternity brothers fucking going like, dude, you'll never guess the shit I fucking heard. Like, apparently everybody kind of figured it out, and then like all of a sudden all these lawsuits and shit started happening on his ass and stuff, and I was like, God damn, man.
Oh boy, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Are both those guys still married?
I'm pretty sure the second one's in fucking jail. My other buddy, yeah, he's married. He's happily married.
Well, good for him with his great job and all his saved up money for a wedding.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he's one of my smarter friends.
Oh man. Okay. Are we done with this rabbit hole? I could go on to it for like the rest of the night, but we're not going to.
I don't even care what we talk about because the best part about this is we're recording it, and then you can just fucking chop out a chunk you don't even fucking want. You're like, now that was a fun conversation, but I'm not putting that in there.
That's going in. It's going in.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking. I think it's funny because when we do this, like, I kind of think about the people that might be listening, but I think sometimes you almost think it's live because you're like, oh man, we got to get back on the fucking show.
Yeah, like, true. It's not like I'm not editing this thing and can't cut half of this conversation out. Oh shit! Like, make us go right from here into talking about the show.
Yeah.
So, American Horror Story Apocalypse, Episode 4. Could it be Satan? That's the title. It kind of touches on the fact that last week I think it was last week or the week before that we were talking about whether or not he is the Antichrist or if he's just a really powerful. We said witch, but warlock. Like, if he's just been told he's the Antichrist, but he's just a warlock, or if he is the Antichrist who can do all the warlock shit anyways because it's like second nature to him.
Yeah, I think it's just he is the Antichrist, and it just so happens to be that he was meant to go to that warlock school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he knew he could. I mean, obviously he knew he could do all the shit, and he's playing because if his mother or whatever guardian. I don't know what she actually is in this case, but the lady that raised him, basically, she's like, I'm a true believer, waving, at the car as he's getting in, like, I knew you were going.
Right.
Like, this has been foretold, like, and he's smiling like, yep, I knew I was going to go meet these guys because it's destiny, whatever you want to call it. He knew that's how the Supreme was going to end up. Like, that interaction was going to happen.
Right.
Like, so yeah, I think it was all just to get him in there. So the only thing that could probably get in his way was her, to go prove a point.
True. What did he handle it well too? At least so far that we've seen. I love the way he's playing Michael. Like the way that Langdon is being played by the actor. Like it's just that great cocky, but also just like there's almost like some sensitivity, but he's also just like, I'm above all of this. Like all of this is just, I'm doing this because I can, but not because I give a shit.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing to see an actor who can somehow demonstrate a person, because we've all seen a person, or we've met a person that just lacks empathy and apathy, like they just don't fucking have it. You're like, you're a drone, or you're emotionless, or you've heard them apologize before and you go, man, that's like a recording, like you're just acting that out because they've seen it forever. The fact that this guy can do that, like, but also leak like just enough of a real empathetic touch on situations, because like even times when he's talking and he's talking nicely, you can tell there's still malevolence in him. Like his face is still kind of like, I'm better than you, but I'm talking to you, but I'm gonna use nice words because I know that's the way I should do it right now. Right. But the fact that the actor can then just on a moment's notice, like literally leak a little bit to make your brain shift quickly enough to go, oh man, that's kind of sad. And then you see him again and you're like equally weirded out again because he's just nothing there. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what the fuck? Like the whole kind of pompous blah, blah, blah thing. I'm like, I would expect someone that was born from the moment they opened their eyes and could hear saying you are the chosen one to act just like that. Like that's not, anybody can act like a spoiled rich kid.
True.
Or a rich asshole. That he does a really good job of just putting off that don't leave your children around me kind of vibe, but also kind of having this warm hand where you're like, I mean, I kind of still want to grab it. Like, it seems safe over there. I'm getting really fucking mixed emotions. Like, I don't want to put my kids there yet because that alarm's still ringing loud, but me personally,
can we be friends?
I might go give that motherfucker a hug, Like,
right. He's doing great. It's just amazing to watch, and it's a fun ride that Cody Fern, who is the actor who plays Michael Langdon, is taking us on. And it's
I was gushing about him earlier when I dropped my daughter's friend off back at her house. I was talking to the parents, and they were like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing your podcast on?" It's American Horror Story 2 Dads Review. Fucking check it out. Click the like. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking. Worship me.
Sell it.
Worship me. God damn it. Worship me. But then I ended up talking about Michael for like 30 fucking minutes describing the actor. And like, I was at the point where I was pulling pictures of him because I was like, he has one of those faces where he always looks young, but at the same time, you can adjust the length of his hair and make him go from a 15-year-old to, early 30s fairly easy, and I was like, oh, how the fuck he does that? That's crazy. Yeah, I've been just raving about him. I hope he wins.
Wins what? The whole war?
Whatever it is, I don't even give a fuck. whatever his destiny is, I hope he wins.
Nice. Well, let's see. So we start out with a flashback. He's with, I'm guessing her name is not Miss Mead, but it's whoever the android is based off of. And she's serving him breakfast, and it's nice, like French toast and some fruit and stuff. And she, he's at a table and his hair is shorter. Like you said, he looks 10 years younger just because his hair is shorter and like curly. Mm-hmm. And then she sits down at the table and it's all like a nice breakfast. And then as they keep panning the camera, it's like, and the Satan shrine, like behind and it's like, oh, this is different. And then I love that he he starts to get ready to dig in, and she's like, "Aren't you forgetting something?" And he does like the satanic prayer, but he does it like every kid who's Christian rushes through a prayer before food. He's like, "Oh yeah, the top of thing," and they're done. And he's like, he just like rushes through the words, not even thinking about it, and I thought that was they still have this like nice homey touch to what's happening in this scene. So
that scene was fucking, because even the conversation was funny
about her killing all of her husbands.
Yeah, right. Like talking about like them joking, because at first like every teenager has probably said this to one of their parents or whatever when they say, "Hey, don't eat that. What are you gonna do? Poison me?" Kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And, you already know he's kind of a bad guy. You don't exactly know how bad, per se. And, like, them doing it just, that line right there was like a normal family joke. Like, every kind of family's had that weird thing.
Right.
And then it keeps going, and it kind of delves into Miss Mead talking about how she did it, and like, but the way she was describing the story was playful banter between both of them. And it was about one of the most evil things you can fucking do. Right. And they're both just talking about it like it's a sporting event, you know, like, hey man, did you catch the game? Like, oh yeah, well, you know, I poisoned him fucking 3 times and chopped him up in little bits. Really? Oh my God. I can't believe that. That's crazy, Susan. You know, and it's just like, what the fuck?
And he's like, he at one point, he's like, you would never poison me. She goes, not unless you don't clean your room like I told you to. It's like, that's that kind of banter.
Yeah, that exact thing. Like, it was so great. It was perfect.
So then they jump back to the present time, which we don't actually spend very much time in the present, like this show's present time. So he's explaining to the android, to Miss Mead, you know, where she came from, why she exists. As they're finishing up talking, she notices that there's a stain on his jacket, and it's, of course, a blood stain from when she just shot Venable a few minutes ago in the timeline. So she has him change into another jacket. It's like a maroon, you know, dinner jacket thing. And she just looks like just as pleased as can be, just like, a mother or a guardian or a caretaker who's like, yep, you look good. Everything looks right. And, you know, I'm happy with how you are. And then, as she's finishing getting him dressed, you can tell that he feels something. He's like, I feel a powerful presence. And she's like, well, everybody's dead. And he goes,
not anymore.
So it's like, he's feeling those 3 witches get revived or reanimated, re-brought back to life, whatever they want to call it. So then we're in the lobby. It's all 6 witches. So you got Cordelia, Myrtle, and Madison there. And then you also have Mallory, Dinah, and Coco, who are newly reawoken. We learned that the 3 of them had identity spells cast on them, which is why none of them knew they were witches.
I called that,
and that's what you called that last week, right? It was an identity thing where they didn't know what they were.
Yep.
Cordelia explains why the spell was put on them. And she tells Mallory that she is special. Mallory herself is very special.
Yeah.
So Mallory is not. So each of the 3 witches are handling coming out of this spell better or differently. Like Mallory still just cannot grasp what's going on. Coco is still Coco, but she's like, this fucking sucks. Like and I think we got like like the first. I know it was Madison was talking about like she is blatantly the weakest of all of us, and she's handling it better than anybody else. And that's like you and I called it last week. It's just gonna be Coco and Madison going at it the whole time. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
Let's see.
But I don't think Coco's gonna have much to say, man.
She's gonna stay quiet.
She's gonna get baited hard, man. She's gonna get baited hard.
Yeah, Dinah is not for any of this. She's talking about like I've made $1 billion and I was barely even, you know, cracking open the door, and you know, now we're gonna go this whole direction. She's like, I'm not in this. I'm not doing this shit.
Yep. Yeah, which I want to know like kind of a little more about her deal.
Well,
right.
Madison does hint at the fact that she's a voodoo witch.
Yeah.
So we do know that she does the voodoo thing as opposed to whatever their earthly thing they do on their side is. I forget how the whole split, but it's like, you know, the whole thing in Coven.
Yeah, but she also knows Michael in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, exactly.
I want to see her flashback to the point of why she is so like, I'm out. Like what either happened where you hate them so much you won't help them?
Mm-hmm.
Or what deal did you have with the devil? Because she obviously has some kind of fucking deal.
Right.
Especially if she was like, I can barely open the door with my magic. You know, like, then you must have sold your soul or some shit to somebody. Somebody a little more powerful than, you know, Papa Midnight or whatever the fuck his name is. Papa Legba. Yeah,
I don't remember. So at that point, Langdon appears on the stairs, and we find out later, a lot of the stuff you're talking about, we see him, I guess, I hate having to use Harry Potter terms when we're talking about witches and wizards, but we may as well. So he can apparate in different places. He can vanish in one place and appear in another. So the stuff we talked about last week, where he would just kind of like be somewhere, he can absolutely
he's got
do
instant
that.
transmission, man.
Yeah. So he appears at the top of the stairs, and Madison had been talking about how they need all of them and working together to defeat him. And his reply to them is,
"How can any of you defeat me when I've already won?"
Yeah. Which I hate to say is terrible foreshadowing, because any jackass that says that's sitting in the top of the seat, like, he's going to lose now, especially when the war is still going on. I don't care what the world looks like. When the bad guy's going to win is when he just is like, it's over. And that's where it stops. Like, if he would have just like been like, no, you're already dead kind of thing, and just iced him or whatever, right. Like, you're like, all right, cool. But when you throw in that little quip about like, I've already won, look around you, it's like, you don't realize, man, there's always that sliver of hope. And now you just open the door for that sliver of hope, and now it's going to come fucking kill you.
Right. And so I had to tweet about this because it was hilarious. So, like, Coco had her fun stuff. We had Joan Collins' character. What was her name for the first couple episodes? Do you remember already? I already forgot her name, but I know it's Joan Collins. But nope. I loved all of her quips. Well, now we have Myrtle, who, when Langdon says,
"Perhaps you haven't noticed the state of the world,"
and Myrtle's response is,
"It's almost as bad as your dinner jacket, but at least the world can be saved."
Mm-hmm. I was like, we're just sick dinner jacket burn. I was like, wait, and it's even funnier that, like, Miss Mead got him dressed and that was like all like happy that he was in it and looking all dapper, and then like this first chance to get Myrtle's like, fuck you.
Yeah. I would love to meet the writer for her and
True.
Just be like, hey, can you write me some quips? I just like a handful of them. I just want to be able to drop them one time in specific situations. Like, you don't even have to tell me what they are. I will have to figure it out by the insult you gave me. I will find it, and then I will make it happen. Like, that's what I want.
Right. So the five of them, kind of, the five witches, not counting Dinah, who makes this statement. She's like, I'm just here to watch. The five of them face off to Langdon.
I like how she threw that out when Langdon was there. She's like, hey, by the way, on the sideline,
right,
just so you see me.
Whatever you're casting, don't cast it this way. I'm just watching this shit.
Throw that net that way.
So, and I think that is our final scene in the present. The rest of the entire episode is all flashback stuff in the past, which is great.
But still in the same building.
True. Some of it is, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I was just throwing that out there for people. Like, it's not a flashback all the time. Like, he's off in a normal neighborhood or at a park, or like a lot of it is back in the same building we've been in, but just what it used to be.
True, which we questioned first episode.
Yeah, so now we have our answers of why these little hives were here.
Mm-hmm. So the next scene starts out. It tells us it's 3 years before the bomb, and we're in the outpost, but there's a bunch of like, young men, boys running around, and you notice that it's kind of like, oh, it's all boys, so it must be what they mentioned about the boys' school, and then you realize that like things aren't normal, because the one classroom we see is like a bunch of boys standing around a circular table, and they're like chanting. And one dude's like, he's like chucking to try to get in there quick because he's late for class. And the teacher scolds him about being late, and they're all chanting. And and you see the teacher, like, the kid forgot his book too. So like magics a book off the shelf into the guy's hand. And I like how he like threw it at him. Like the kid's like, Jesus Christ. We don't have a football team here.
Yeah, man, they gotta, well, I mean, not American Horror Story in general, but just like teachers in general. Like, people got to stop writing them so fucking mean, man. Like, when was the last time you had something about, like, a nice teacher?
On TV?
Any movie? TV?
Oh, never. That's not fun to watch.
Right? Like, there was... Nah, man, because there was that really old show, Hanging with Mr. Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he was a super nice teacher, and that show was hilarious. It was great. Because, like, even in AP Bio, the new one with the guy from... Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, he's kind of dickish, through the whole thing. I'm like, what does everybody just like? I almost feel you have to be a nicer person these days to want to teach kids. Like, because of all the rules now. Like, you can't have them old school asshole teachers in there. Every one of them would be losing a job immediately.
Yeah, well. Yeah, that's a whole I mean, it could be Georgia. They just voted back in corporal punishments. They can spank kids now with the board. Did you know that?
Shit, dude. Wow. No, I didn't know that. I have, in Wyoming in 6th grade, my teacher sent home a form saying, hey, like, if you're cool with it, I'll whip your kids in school.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like, of course, my parents were like, no. But he used to keep his little paddle up above his chair and shit like that. He's my favorite teacher. I fucking loved him.
Right.
Best part is, like, when I was getting ready to go off to middle school, he, like, pulled me in because him and I kind of struck up a bond through yo-yoing, of all things.
Godly.
Yeah, man. He was actually like a dude. Like when he was younger, he used to rock a yo-yo, man. He knew all kinds of tricks. I was learning shit from him left and right, not only in school but on the yo-yo field. It was awesome. But he told me that he sends that paper home with the kids, and none of the kids ever read it, and it's actually a joke for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that he told him about the paddle and all that shit and blah, 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 that he keeps this funny-ass paddle up above his desk just to kind of keep the kids in line because they think some of the parents signed off to get their ass whooped.
That's nice. Like, yeah, you can't bring this back to me. Your parents have to mail it to me, so you'll never know if they send it back or not.
Yeah.
Oh,
but that
shit.
was a funny blast from the past right there. That was great.
That's funny. God, you do have some dark-seated nerd in you that you just yo-yo, huh? That's...
Oh, yeah, dude, man, like, my personality is literally just, like, an all-or-nothing personality, so I could, like, not want anything to do with a generalized genre of something. I'm like, oh, that's stupid, but then all of a sudden, I'll find, like, a very little niche in it somewhere, and I'm like, I want everything to do with that.
I want to know everything. Yeah, I can't... Yeah, I can't really deny you that whatsoever because I'm the same way now that I think about it. Damn it. Yeah. Shit. It's so bad.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's shit I'll look at and be like, fucking nerds, man. Like, just like, goddamn, we're there. And then I'll like think about some of the shit that I've nerded out on going, yep, I shouldn't have cast that judgment. Really wish I could get that back.
Nice. Let's see. So the boys end up like reassembling like a broken glass sphere. I tried to actually like take the closed captions and like translate what they were chanting, and it's like the one thing from this episode I couldn't. It didn't have a translation.
You know why? Because it was probably fucking real, and if the words were written and spoken all at the same time, man, it would have just catastrophic events. They're smart. I always wonder about that kind of stuff, man. Like when they're making up these crazy satanic chants and shit like that. I mean, it's Hollywood types. There's supposed to be some crazy stuff going on. I'm wondering every so often if some producer guy's like, here, I got a script for you. And it's like really his contract. They're just like, he's like, read that.
Right. I'm not sure if this episode, I could have sworn it was this episode or if it was the one before that like I was doing some translating on, but I thought it was, maybe it wasn't, but yeah, they're just making it whole again. And then, so I have to call BD Wong's character Wong this entire recap because they never say his name in the entire episode. In fact, on IMDb, it's blank. So BD Wong, the guy from SVU, the guy from Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, like he's just BD Wong. Sorry, I don't have a name. I got a name for the other three guys in the council, but I don't have a name for him.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be one like a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? It's either going to be one of those things where he's like, you never even say my name, blah, blah, blah. And like he gets all angry and fed up with some shit. Or
they're like, we can't say your name because it fucking makes shit burn around us. We don't know.
Yeah, right? Like, or he's like Beetlejuice or something, you know, if you say it too many times, like terrible things will happen, or his name is an actual like spell, you know, or some shit like that.
Yeah, right. But the other professor, the one who is yelling at the kid and giving him a hard time, is Chablis, I believe is how you pronounce it. Chablis. If you got a better thing, at me at Twitter. I don't give a shit. Just saying. I don't know. Chablis is what I'm going with. So we go into his office and we meet John Henry Moore, who was played by Cheyenne Jackson, who you know him from. Was he on one of your shows? Maybe not.
I don't know. It'll probably pop in my head somewhere.
Yeah, he's been in one of those. He's one of those guys you see and you're like, oh, you've been in like everything. which it looks like he actually has been in like everything, which is great because I do like him as an actor. But we meet him, and we also meet Grand Chancellor Ariel. So that's the balder Asian guy, not BD Wong, the other one. And so they're all kind of like, Wong is super overjoyed that Ariel is there for some reason. Like, so he's like never around at least this boys' school. So he must be like the warlock of warlocks, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that guy's probably the most powerful one because they're all threes. Every one of them in there is a 3.
Right, and they're the council for the warlocks. The 4 of them, that's it. That's the big
and he is probably out of those 4 the strongest one in the group.
Right.
And he probably was like that guy's teacher, I want to say. So that's probably one of those things like, oh, I used to see you all the time, but you know, you got to go do your grand warlock stuff. I don't know what the fuck his title is.
Right. So the whole point of Ariel's visit is he has a recording on his computer, like of a police interview, which is cool and everything, except like the camera moves in it during the whole scene. And I'm like, no police interview has like someone like running a camera. You know what I'm saying? It's like you get that one shot and that's it. But I'll go with it because it helped itself out better. You know, to see everything that was happening. So you see a detective and he's interviewing Langdon and it's this boy Langdon like we saw earlier, like he's the younger version that we saw earlier in the flashback. And he's slapping him around. He's talking about, you know, the guy had, you know, there was 5 knives and you're the only one that was around there. And he picks him up, throws him to the ground, starts like literally like kicking the shit out of him. Like kicking the shit out of Langdon in the corner of the interview room. And then all of a sudden, the detective gets thrown against the wall. And then he's dragged up to the ceiling. And then as he's on the ceiling, like every limb of his body breaks. Which was like...
Specifically, not like they got pulled apart. Not like it was crinked. It was massive limbs and joints, knees and elbows and wrist. And like forearms that were getting bent the wrong fucking way. Like, because imagine like when you think of a break, right? You kind of picture like, let's say it was your arm in your break. When you think about a break in your arm, does your arm ever go to the right or
No.
to the left? Like the outside when you think of break. Like you always think the break is on the inside and your arms would kind of come in. Mm-hmm. These were like on the outside of your fucking arm and we broke it and pulled it out. Like it doesn't go that way ever. Like skin doesn't go that direction. Like those kind of breaks. It was gnarly. Like I fucking sat up in my seat, went whoa,
like oh shit, we're going there. Yeah,
yeah.
Breaks all the bones, and then he falls to the floor, is drugged back up to his knees, and like has time to look at the camera and say "save me" before his head fucking explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And like then you get just like. And then Langdon's just sitting against the door, like in the fetal position. Like he's just kind of like, just sitting, like, you know, just curled up there, all helpless looking.
But also at the same time, you're like, he just manifested his rage. Like,
yeah, we know.
Shit.
We know exactly what happened.
Yeah, like you. Yeah, it's weird. And it's not like, oh, hey, here's the poor young mutant that was abused in the X-Men movies and like Professor Xavier comes to save him and you know, you feel bad for the guy. Like, even though he's on the ground, like crying and being beaten, you still don't really feel bad for him.
No,
you're like, you're fucking evil, dude.
Yeah,
you're just evil.
So yeah, there is no way you can feel like any sort of bad for him at all. It's just not happening.
Yeah. This wasn't like because even then you didn't feel like it was like he just lost control of his powers. You know, mm-hmm. and really by the next scene, you definitely get that point proven.
Yeah, that's true. Cause it's not like it's an accident. He's not accidentally causing these things to happen. He is willing them into existence.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, and then and of course it's supposed to look like that, but that's what the warlocks think. They're like, oh, he just couldn't control his power, blah 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 blah. He manifested it, you know, da 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 da. But you as the viewer get like the inside track, so. While you're watching this all go on, and then you see him, you still instantly go, nope, he's faking it. Something's wrong. Like, though, that's not real. Like, that's not real. That's just a boy pretending to cry and look like he's crying, you know?
Yeah. And this actually brings up what's going to carry through the whole episode is Moore. So Cheyenne Jackson's character, Moore, he is a skeptic. He is not on board for going after this kid. He is not on board for bringing him to the school. He does not like anything that's happening right now at all. And he voices that throughout the entire episode, which honestly, as it goes on further, I'm like, you're going to get killed really, really hard by Langdon at some point, dude. Like, it's going to be you versus him, and it's going to be not even a competition.
Yeah.
Later on down, a few episodes down the road, but it's going to happen. But Ariel, on the other hand, is like, oh, like you said, he's untapped power, and he's just one we've been waiting for. He's the one we've been waiting for. And he mentions the Alpha for the first time. And they're like, he could be the one of us that could pass the test of the Seven Wonders.
Yep. That is true.
That is true.
I like how they call him the Alpha. Like, of all the things in the world, like, you could have came up with, Alpha was, like, it just, I mean, it works too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it sounds really cool. Like, he's the Alpha Warlock. Like, I mean, Alpha is just a cool fucking word in general. But I just kind of figured since it was a bunch of, like, mystical warlocks, like, it would have been a
way cooler word.
Yeah, like, the word would have been, like, a little fancier, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just, like, we're all level 3s. That's our Alpha. Like, you know, I figured it would have been something way different.
Well, okay, so a little Ryan Murphy trivia for you in the fact that, you know, the writers and everything, like, binge watch their past episodes before they write the current season.
Mm-hmm.
In the very first season, while what's her name is pregnant with Michael Langdon when he's still in utero, and and he's a twin in the show, but there's something wrong with the second twin, and the doctor is explaining to Ben Harmon all the necessary nutrients are being devoured by the larger fetus, the Alpha, if you will. Is what the doctor says way back in season 1.
That's cool.
So it's
cool.
kind of
I mean, that's cool that they do shit like that. But again, I still thought it was going to be a way fancier word.
Right. Like, come on, Harry Potter that shit up, man. Give me some cool words with that.
Yeah.
So they all agree to send Ariel to go. Ariel's like, I'm going to go see the kid. I'm going to go talk to him. We're going to work this shit out. So Langdon is in lockup. We're at a police station now. Langdon's in lockup and just in some cell. And Ariel's brought to him like as a visitor, as like his lawyer, or whatever he told the cop he was. And the conversation between Ariel and Langdon start up, and Ariel drops like the, hey, I'm a warlock, like real quick. Like real quick in the conversation, you know, yeah, weird yeah, especially if this was like just a normal, like magical boy and who's been able to make things happen when he's been in stress or in trouble, like being like, and which is real, warlocks are real. Like that came in way too quick in the conversation for me personally.
I think this was more like he's such a prize talent.
It's like he's not beating around the bush.
There's no point in trying to, you know, sugarcoat it or coax him or whatever. Like it was you're my dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you the inside scoop of everything. And I also think he does it that way to show that probably later when we see him a lot of the favoritism that he's going to have for Michael in general. So I think this is kind of already a way of them stressing the point that guy is so gung-ho into him that he's already blinded by what's happening.
Right.
Like, hey man, we're warlocks. By the way, you're the fucking Alpha. Let's go. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the way, and it's crazy because as you watch him talk to him, he talks to him like he's talking to a warlock who's very powerful, who's not in control, not the Antichrist, which is what's gonna destroy their entire plan. Which is why whatever we're gonna see coming is gonna happen all the way to the nukes and everything, because he talks to him like, yeah, you lashed out the only way you know how, and you know you're just, you know, you're confused and you don't know this, that, and the other, and it's really just like, no, I'm just the Antichrist and I just do this shit when I want to. But you can talk to me like I'm like that because I don't let you believe that for now.
Oh yeah, no. This is just the actor and Michael just putting on a show. right? I mean, he's and you get the confirmation that the back of your brain has been telling you the whole time as they leave the police station, because that guy, the number 3, the dude that came to pick him up, like throws the guard that he talked to against the wall on their way out after their conversation. And he's like, "Don't worry, Michael, he'll wake up and not remember anything." And then it pans down to Michael's hand, and he kind of like squeezes like he has a stress ball or something, but there's nothing there. And then all of a sudden the dude on the wall like gets broken in all these other places and like his neck pops.
Yep.
You know, and so at that point you went, okay, he's using the warlocks. Like,
right. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Before Ariel takes him out real quick, they do a flashback to the scene of what got Michael into custody in the first place. And it's him and, I'm going to call her Miss Mead because I don't know her real name. So him and Miss Mead, and she's at a butcher counter, and she's demanding she's demanding the goat's head from the butcher. She's like, "I just want the head." And I love like how she's like, "I just want the head. I don't know why you're not listening to me," like clapping at the guy.
Yep.
In only a way that Kathy Bates could do it too. It just in the way that she plays it, and it's like, and the guy's being a snotty, you know, your standard run of the mill shitbag employee who's like, "I'm not gonna fucking tell it to you. I don't care what you do." And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go talk to your manager," and he's like, "Fine." She walks off, and like Michael, like in his like the way we were talking, like where he just seems slight in his stature, like he doesn't look like he's dangerous. But he just like walks up to the guy with the buggy, and he's like,
You are rude. Don't ever talk to her like that.
And the guy's like,
Yeah. Fuck you. And fuck that batshit crazy bitch.
And then Michael does his whole like eyes rolling back, and you see the close up on the knives on the wall, and then they all fly and hit the guy from forehead to groin, just like just all over the place. The dude he doesn't even know what hit him. So he's powerful. He knows how to use it. He knows how to use it well, and it's gonna be a lot of trouble. It's gonna cause the apocalypse. That's how much trouble it's gonna be.
Yeah, can't wait to see what they do to make it happen.
Yeah, and like you said way earlier, as Ariel's leaving, Miss Mead is sitting there, and she's yelling at him.
I'm a true believer, Michael. I'll be here for you. Always. Hail the new world. Hail.
Like, she's like, "I know you're going to be leaving with them. We're good." Like,
and the best part is, again, it's like a mother waving to their child going off to like summer camp. Like, "I love you, baby. You're going to do great. Have fun, blah, blah, blah. Like, I believe in you. You got this." Like, that's the best part about it. Like, this got me thinking, is this kind of like a weird way for like American Horror Story to be like, "Hey, look, everybody needs to be nurtured, right? Like, stop being fucking assholes to everybody. I know this guy's the Antichrist, but he was loved." Like that you can tell she genuinely loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not yes, she has a servitude role, but you can genuinely tell that like it's a mother's love for him. You know, and it's like, hey man, you can accomplish anything if people believe in you. You can literally become the Antichrist. Like, I mean, that's like the vibe, you know. But is
that the message you want to tell?
Well, no, but yeah, but again, it's like an offhanded way that only American Horror Story could do, is going like, "Look, man, you got to support. Got to support. That's all there is to it." That's the best part. I love it. That's what I took away from it.
Even evil people can support and I don't know. I know what they're trying to say. It doesn't seem like a message I want to send. Like, support even the crazy.
Well, see, that's just it, dude. It's not like support your local Nazi, like, kind of thing. It's how she's supporting him. Like, it's an unconditional love. Like, it is, I'm gonna back you up and be there for you no matter what. Like, that is what anybody wants from someone that they love. Like that's how you are with like your children. You're like, "Hey man, I'm always going to be here. Like, sometimes you're going to fail, and sometimes I may have to tell you the honest truth," but they're like supporting them.
Okay, on the flip side, maybe what American Horror Story is trying to tell you is that not all evil is raised in like a dungeon and beaten and whipped at all times.
Well, that's also another thing too.
So like, it could be like just because someone may look like they're clean cut and normal, i.e. last season, and the whole, like, that doesn't mean that there's not something more sinister lurking below the surface that has been nurtured lovingly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing that, but everybody already knows that. Everybody, like, anybody that thinks of, like, terrible people, they don't think of monsters anymore. It's not an 8-headed thing with tentacles and spiders for fucking eyes and shit. Like, no one's scared by that anymore. They're scared of their normal fucking looking neighbor who keeps heads in their basement and acid washes fucking people now. Like, ever since Dahmer, people just go, fuck that. I don't trust anybody anymore, normal looking or not.
Right.
Everybody already knows that, dude. That guy, like, you could meet Michael in real life, acting the way he acts, and if you have any remote instinct in you, you go, that's a bad vibe. That's a bad vibe.
Right.
Yeah. But, like,
all of us in the world right now are afraid of being that person being interviewed by the TV crew saying, "He seemed like a normal guy to me." We are all most scared of that being the interview we're conducting, like we're giving to some news
no one
company.
wants to hear that shit.
I don't want to be the one that says that shit.
Yeah. Oh, man, I fucking drink beers with Tom. Goddamn.
Right.
You know, like, fuck that.
That reminds me of I hate bringing up Dane Cook because he's not considered a good comedian anymore. But, like, when he was in his heyday, like, there's a whole bit he does about always giving, like, candy to, like, the weird guy in the office.
Oh, yeah.
So
man, I love Dane Cook.
I've seen him. I went to him live when he was, like, in his biggest. I went to, like, University of Maryland, like, sat in, like, their basketball stadium full of people and watched him perform to, like, however many folks fit in their stadium. It was insane.
Yeah, dude. I always wonder if he's one of those guys where, you know, because you said it, like, apparently he's not a funny comedian anymore. Like, I don't care if you get.
It's not cool to like him anymore.
That's Okay,
I still like
that's
him.
what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's a bad comedian anymore. Like, all of a sudden it was like you got too close to the sun, and now everyone's like, nah, that's trendy. I can't be part of that. You know, fuck that, man. Like what you like. Who gives a shit?
Everybody loves to tear you down when you got some success. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Especially in the comedian world. Boy, those people they're fucking rough to each other.
Yeah, dude, that's like a weird fraternity. You know, it's like they can't be picked on from the outside because they'll all band together. But if you are the weakest one in the group, you will be just ridiculed like unmercifully.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
It's like you got to earn your stripes.
So let's see. Where are we at? Outside the outpost. So Ariel took him for the police station. They arrive. It looks the way it does now with just like that weird artistic thing, and then they go down into the bunker. But he mentioned that the school used to be above ground, and then when Cordelia went public in 2014 about witches and shit, like some folks in the town and the surrounding areas didn't take so kindly to warlocks being at a school, you know, next door, and they had a Molotov cocktail party.
Yep.
Which is funny because during, I think, the season of Coven, Madison Montgomery made a offhanded comment about Molotov cocktails, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody online was saying that could be what happened to him, that she just burned the place down. So they go into the school. The whole faculty and students all welcome him, you know, but Moore is kind of standing off to the side like, you know, I'm not cool with this yet. Like, I'm just going to be stoic in the back corner smoking my cigarette, just chilling. Like, I'm not going to go up and, like, you know, high-five this kid.
I like the way they did that shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where he's in the back of the crowd. Because he's not off to the side. He's right in the middle.
Right, in the very back.
But he's, like, in the back, like, standing, in front of the fireplace. And there's all of the young warlocks. And as Michael comes in and they kind of do the show, like, of course, everyone is super excited. And all the other young warlocks are, like, hugging him. And then they just kind of zoom through the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just right to his face, just like, don't buy it. It's snake oil.
Like, he should not be here.
This is bad news for all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we jump forward a little bit of time, and Michael is called before the four main faculty we've already met, the same four. They mention that he's been there only a short time, and they're accelerating the categorizing process. And they explain to him what a level 1 through 4 is. And so he's like, I know he's playing. I know that Michael is playing the part of a wide-eyed boy, which we know he's not. Like, not the actor. The actor's playing Michael, playing the part of like a wide-eyed boy, because he's like, "Oh, are you all fours?" And they're like, "No, you're looking at at a table full of threes."
Yeah.
And then the one guy makes the joke,
6 is after a few cocktails.
and so they say that the level of the level 4 would be theoretically equal to the Supreme, and it's called the Alpha. And then Moore is still, he's at his end of the table, like, just not convinced. Everything anybody says, he has his negative swing on everything.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
He does not like anything that's happening at all. So they're going to
it's not even like a jealousy vibe too. Like, it's you tell that he like his radar went off on the video.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "We don't mess with this.
Yeah, we don't touch
this. This is bad shit." Like, you know what I mean? He even like called out, like, you know, it's demonic possession. Like, you only see this in demonic possession, kind of like one of them made a comment about that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's already like, dude, if we're warlocks, we do magic, but we don't even fuck with hell. Like, we don't mess with the demonic presence. So it's kind of like a tip, because a lot of people probably think warlocks, Satan, like they're all buddies and, you know, and shit, and witches in general. But even like the witches in their whole season were like, you know, look, we're not satanic. That's not their whole thing. So even the warlocks are not satanic.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, like, we do the same shit witches do. We're just dudes.
Right.
You know, so there's none of that, like, oh, we have the dark side on our power, because even then he would have been gung-ho about it. But he's like, dude, there is a level of evil in him that we don't want anything to do with. Like,
none of us can handle.
You can't correct that ship.
Right.
You know?
Right. He's not on a bad path. You're going to steer him the right way.
He is the fucking path. Like, he's the one that gets everybody else to go down it.
Right. So they're going to initiate all the level tests. So you pass one, you're this, you pass this, you're that. You keep going. So first test is scrying, which is the ability to see messages, visions, and prophecies in a mirror, pretty much is what they're explaining to him. And Wong is telling him that they've hidden the book somewhere in this room, and you need to look in the mirror and tell us where it's hidden. And as he's explaining it to him, he already knows, like, Langdon already knows which book it is.
Yeah.
And it's the New Adam and Eve by Nathaniel Hawthorne, which actually I pulled it up because, like, it's old enough because it was written sometime in the 1800s. Like, it's like free literature now. So I pulled it up and like I turned on whatever on Chrome will let me, like, it'll read whatever's on the screen to me. So I wanted to just like kind of hear what it was about. And I didn't get through the whole thing. It's only like 14 or 15 pages, which is weird because it's like a full book he pulls out of the mirror. But like, it kind of, from what I captured while I was working and listening to this, like, it's talking about, you know, a restart of the world, and there's like all this symbolism when it comes to like Adam and Eve and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, this kind of makes complete sense for this to be the book that we're talking about in this show. Okay, that's all. It wasn't enough that I was like, I need to hear all of this entire story because it's fine. I'm good. So he does his like looking into the mirror thing, but instead of just telling him where it's at, he pulls it out of the mirror, and like Wong is like, "Ooh, that's gonna be some extra credit," and everybody's all excited, and then Moore's like, "Nope, what all I see is the fact that he ignored directions."
Yeah.
He's
like, there's your negative.
Yep, that's exactly what's wrong with this, is that he cannot be controlled or told what to do. But you guys aren't seeing it because you guys are fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, next one. The second test they are at is the Salare per Spadium, which in Latin, that I just butchered, means jump through space. That's what it means, the test. And it's the apparition test, and it's where he can transport from one place to another. And so, as he's explaining it, like, you see a brick and a knife, like, start to levitate in front of Wong. And he's like, Langdon's like, what are those for? He's like,
incentive.
Yeah, incentive, motivation. And he chucks the brick at him, and he disappears and reappears top of the stairs. And then he chucks the knife at him, you know, and he disappears again. And then you hear him like, hey, you guys want me to dust up here while I'm here? And like he's at the very top of the ceiling, like hanging on, kind of like the dude in the pleather outfit from like episode 2.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
That still could have, and the fact that he can apparate now means it still could feasibly have been him in the suit.
Very true.
And it could have been him laying there at first, and then he could have pulled Granny. I don't know how that. Anyways, we'll probably see that later. But yeah, it could be him in the leather suit for all we know. So let's see. So he passes that one again as well. That second test. So third test is Stericidium, which in Latin means snowfall, and they explained that it's they're back in the room they initially started with him in, where they were telling him about the test, and it's them at the table, and he's in front of the fire. Langdon's in front of the fire with his back to it, and it's like, look, there's molecules of water in the air right now. They're like, take that and make it snow in this room. So Langdon stands up and starts to do his little motions, and he gets he conjures up one snowflake, which is great. And then he conjures up a whole bunch, and they're all like, the three of them are like, I love all three of the believers' faces. They all look like they are watching Santa Claus be told is real. Like someone's walking in the real Santa Claus, dude. They're like, Santa's real. It's all real. He actually exists. And then Moore's just like, fuck. And then Langdon turns up to 11, and the fire goes out in the room, and suddenly, from what I can tell, it's negative 100 degrees in that room. It is.
Yeah, he was literally freezing them.
You could hear
death.
You could hear people you could hear things freezing in their bodies as they were trying to talk. Limbs were freezing in place, and Ariel finally Wong is like, I can't breathe, I can't talk or something, and then Ariel screams out for Langdon to stop, and he does, and he. The lights kind of come back up in the room, and Langdon's nose is bleeding all of a sudden, and he's like, I didn't know I had that in me. When he got done with it, and then of course Ariel's like, you're just an eagle that is learning to fly, and once you can, you'll soar above all of us, or some just lovey-dovey line. It's like, dude, you are
so
just gung
ho, metaphoric prophecy, dude. Yes, this is the one. Oh my god. It's like, nah, dude, that guy has been playing you the whole fucking time.
Yep. So bad. So they are convinced he is a level 4. They are ready to rock and roll. So now, for the first time since season 3, we are back at. Do you remember how to say the name of the academy? I have it written down here for you. Do you know how to say it? Robichaud? Is that right? Miss Robichaud?
I think so.
That's close. We're going with it. Tweet at us. I don't care. It's fine. Tell me how to say it right. But we're at the academy from Coven, and you have Zoe there, played by the fantastic Taysa Farminga, who was in Final Girls that we reviewed a while back.
That's true. She was in there.
She was awesome in it.
She played a fantastic in that one as well.
Yep. Go watch that movie. That's a great movie. Came out a few years ago. We reviewed it on our little lead up, our little horror movie lead up to this season, American Horror Story. So it was fun. So she's in there teaching a bunch of witches, one of them being Mallory. So now we know that, Mallory was there. Cordelia kind of approaches behind. She's kind of watching the class happen. And what they're practicing is changing the color of a rose. And Zoe goes through this whole story about Napoleon Bonaparte's wife, who was supposedly a witch. And, it's all that a rose wants to be the color it wants to be, but, not when confronted with the power of the will of a woman or something. It's like, okay, I get it. We know you guys are awesome. It's beaten into I understand completely.
But wouldn't that be what witches would be doing anyways?
What?
You know what I'm saying? That's what. Wouldn't they be talking like that anyways? You know what I'm saying?
I know.
You're treating it like it's specifically meant for you alone. It's not. It's just why wouldn't all women witches talk like that about another powerful woman witch? And how, I just feel like that's stories that would be in their own shit. And I love how you're like, oh, We get it. Women are awesome.
I know we're not.
Fuck.
We're not even to the part of the episode where it's even worse. They go even deeper into it, and you're just like, yes, I know I'm a man. I'm fucking shit. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know how I could be any more humble and grovel at your feet. I fucking know. Like, I got it. I got it. It just seems like it's every fucking show.
Yeah, but you got to look at it like this, though, man. Everybody but a white male has been dealing with some bullshit for numerous years.
I'm not
like
denying that.
we're only in like fucking the opening minutes of round 1.
I know. I'm not even bleeding or puffy yet. Like the fight is a long way from being over. I know. I'm not even hopping the fence into the crowd yet.
Oh, that motherfucker was insane last night.
Yeah.
That was great.
Let's see. So as Mallory changes hers, she gets hers to turn blue, and then the petals fall off. And
because doesn't Cordelia like make like an offhanded comment like, "Oh, I guess she is," and then she's like, "Just watch."
Yeah, Zoe's like, "Watch." Yeah, she's like, she's special, and she changes to blue, and Cordelia's like, It's like,
yeah,
that's
and everybody,
impressive.
because everybody else turned it like red or whatever. Like she was the only one that made a unique color.
Right, and then she's like, and then the petals fall off, and Cordelia's like, it was like almost like, oh, too bad, or oh, that sucks. And then Zoe's like, wait.
Yes, I see there is potential, kind of like, okay, I got it.
Right, then she's like, wait, and then she turns them into butterflies. And they fly around, and then like they land. They like when they like one of them gets towards Cordelia. When it lands back as a blue petal.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cordelia's like, well, fuck, excuse me, like she's something special.
Oh, all right then. I will go ahead and take foot out of my mouth. My bad.
And during this, Zoe also mentions that Mallory's grandmother said that they can trace their bloodline back to the Salem witches. That she's one of the first, her bloodline is from one of the first Salem witches.
I missed that part. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and there's a whole backstory to that I have no clue. That I'm guessing we're gonna get some more story about too. But she's somebody. She's being built up to be somebody major, and because she's so meek and she's a servant, as this season starts out, I've got a feeling it'll be like her versus Langdon at the end of this all, pretty much, because everybody else is gonna be gone or who knows what.
Yeah. She'll definitely be part of the final showdown.
Yeah. So Myrtle comes in real quick, and she's verklempt on the fact that the Hawthorne School, which is the name of the boys' school, has called an emergency council, and she's mad.
What word did you just use?
What'd I say? Verklempt?
I don't even know. Yeah.
That's some Saturday Night Live shit, man. Come on. Some Mike Myers.
I thought I fucking heard it, and I was like, I don't know if he's fucking with me or if that's like a legit word, and I've literally never heard that. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I believe the base. I don't know what the base of that is. I don't want to guess, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to sound like a fucking racist. So I'm just going to leave it alone.
Probably a good idea.
I'm a white male. I can't say anything on this. On this anyways. It doesn't matter. I can't. Whatever I say will be wrong. It's from Mike Myers, and when he on Saturday Night Live way back in the day. That's what it's from. Talk amongst yourselves. So they have to go to the Hawthorne School to have this emergency council. And so next scene, we're at the school. The council's assembled. Errol gives his speech about Langdon and his abilities. And then this is what I was talking about earlier. So Cordelia gives her speech about how men are not equal to women in the magical community. We know that testosterone is a known inhibitor to magical abilities and hurts access to the ethereal realm. So like testosterone is like the devil when it comes to doing anything magical. Like the fact that you have which, okay, how do I put this? Is that why most of the warlocks there we see are homosexual more than likely? Is there a lesser amount of testosterone that makes them more able to be warlocks? BD Wong, number one, BD Wong, the actor is gay. I mean, and he's played characters in SVU. He was gay in SVU, and I don't know if he plays.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know if they're gay though. Like they could just be extremely flamboyant.
Agreed. I mean,
yes,
John Henry Moore is rocking some awesome guy liner.
Yeah, if we're gonna make a swooping generalization, yes, I would say it fucking bet $1 on it that they were probably gay warlocks, those guys. But I don't think everybody in that group is a gay warlock. I just think those two guys just happen to be gay in real life, and they are in American Horror Story shows and they were pulled in. Like, that's just, like I don't guarantee there is zippy correlation between a gay man and his testosterone levels.
I don't know. I'm just saying. They mentioned
No,
on
I'm telling you,
purpose.
there's zippy. Because you're gay, you don't automatically have less testosterone.
That's not what I'm saying. But it sounds like it was.
Yeah, well, that's why I was like, I don't understand that. But I mean, the only way, if they would have been like drawing blood or something on him when they come in, like then I would have been like, yeah, dude, every one of those kids probably has higher or lower whatever levels they're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be like, yeah, they're killer. But nah, dude, I just think they happen to have a couple gay warlocks in the group at this school, and that's just all there is to it.
So, but
I don't think.
So you can probably guarantee that. So the correlation that those guys may or may not be gay doesn't correlate to the fact that probably most of the folks in that school have a low testosterone count because they're magical.
Yes, yeah. If that was if that is the drawback, if like the witches said, then yeah, if I was a warlock, I would be looking for dudes that just have like the lowest testosterone levels ever, because that's your only way to combat that.
Right. So yeah. So that's that they.
Which is funny because they're like every dude in the world is like testosterone's what makes me a fucking man, and it's like,
and it also fucks up shit.
yeah.
Let's see. So then the Hawthorne School requests the test. They're like, Cordelia's like, what are you asking me? And what are you asking from us? And they're like, we want you to administer the test of the 7 wonders to him. And she's like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not going to do it. She references Misty Day, like how she died. And then Ariel brings up the black girl that she left behind. And actually, did Ariel bring it up?
Yeah, that was
or
funny.
Did Chambrise bring
He's
it
like,
up?
I see you. Yeah. I see you.
And then we get Cordelia starts telling the story about the Hotel Cortez, which, because I haven't seen Hotel, I had to go look up and know that, that's the hotel from Hotel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool, I got it. Now I know where I'm at. And she goes back and forth with trying to bring her. She goes in, brings her out. She keeps not being able to get her out of the doors. And then, that whole sad moment, she's like, I'm just not going to do it. And
and she also explains like they went out every door, every window, and like and they show the repetition like quite a bit, but it also goes to show like how big the Hotel Cortez is. Like, it is fucking huge.
Yeah.
And the fact that they tried everything just with her powers and like getting out of like trying to find a crack somewhere in it to slip her out, it was just impossible. Like, she just literally wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. And you could tell it was a great scene between her and Queenie as well. Like, they're both crying, and Cordelia's kind of just like laying her head on her shoulder and just like, I'm sorry, I can't get you out of here. Like, I'm just not powerful enough. So at the end, when they come back from the flashback, Cordelia's like, this council meeting's closed. Like, we're not doing this. And then as they're getting up to leave, we move to Langdon in his room, and he is like eyes rolled back in his head, like scribbling on a notepad. And then when the camera comes over his shoulder, you see he's drawing the Hotel Cortez, like in his notebook, and you're like, oh shit. So then we go to the Hotel Cortez, and Queenie and March, is it Mr. March? That's his name in that season. Mr. March, it's March of some sort. It's March.
Yeah.
And they're playing cards, and like she's like, this is our 56,000th hand I've won in a row or some shit, and like she just keeps beating his ass. And then Langdon enters the room, and you could already tell like the way March approached Cordelia, or the way he addressed Cordelia when she came in, is completely different than the way that he addressed Langdon when he walks in. And he like kind of straightens up, and he's like, Langdon comes, he's like, I'm here. He's like, oh, you're different. He's like, oh, you're different, or oh, you're something to Langdon. And as Langdon walks in, kind of ignoring March, to be honest. Like, I'm not even sure he even references the fact that guy's sitting there. He just goes straight. Goes straight to Queenie, and he's like,
yeah. He sits up because something different, something he hasn't felt in all the time he's been at the Hotel Cortez, comes walking through that door,
and he knows exactly what he is the minute he walks in that room. before anything.
I don't know if
happens.
he knows exactly what he is.
He knows exactly what's going to happen.
Well, yeah,
because he goes.
But
first off, Langdon offers her his hand. He's like, "Come with me. I'll get you out of here." And she's like, "Fuck you. I don't want to go." She's like, "This is stupid. I know you can't get me out of here. If Cordelia can't, you can't." And March is like, "You should take his hand."
It was like, "Take her hand.
I don't
take her hand.
I don't." He's like, "I don't think you have a choice whether or not." And then she's like, "Fine, I'll be back in a minute," which is cool. I love how she's like, "I'll be back in a second." And and then he reaches across and grabs the deck of cards and he goes, "Guess it's back to playing solitaire." So he knows she's not coming back. He's like, "That's it. That guy's gonna get her out of here."
Yeah. He definitely knew whatever power level vibe they have that his shit was off the charts.
Right.
And you just don't mess with it. I don't think he knew that was the Antichrist, but he definitely knew that on the evil scale, that guy's one heavy hitter. Right?
Right. And then so Michael does walk her out of the front doors and she's like, "All right, I'm on your team." Like, she's like, "I'm sold." And he's like, "All right, there's one person left to get." And so then we get to see Madison's hell, where she's working.
Yeah, that was great.
She's working at a department store with a infinite line of people, and she's like at the returns counter, and the lady's bringing in like a used crock pot with the food still in it, trying to return it.
Return for any reason.
And people are kind of recognizing her, and she's like, "Yeah, I did some TV movies, and I almost got a part," and then they're like, they think she's like Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, this isn't Lindsay Lohan.
Like, she's a nobody, and then so they threaten to call her manager. And then at that point, when they threaten to call her manager, you see she gets actually like shook, like scared. She's like,
"Yeah,
she's like,
don't
no,
call my manager."
And so we find out why, because the guy's got a fucking cattle prod.
Yep.
And so he sends her to go fold the tiles in the aisle, whatever. And she's like, "But I just folded those before I came up here." He's like, and then you hear him like shift his voice, and he's like, "Go do it." You're like, "Oh shit, okay, this guy's like her fucking devil in this room, so go on and do your thing."
Yeah. Voice definitely didn't sound right.
No. She's there folding towels, picking up towels, and like as she's like,
but you still don't realize that she realizes that she's in her personal hell.
Oh, well, Michael talks about it. Like, we all see her going, "Oh yeah," because, and actually you're right, I should bring that up because I went back and watched Misty Day's hell from Coven, where she's having to dissect the frog and she keeps bringing it back to life, and it's that cycle, and how she doesn't know that she's in it, and she's never going to know that she's redoing it over and over and over again. Like, she can never break that cycle. But Madison, like, the fact that Madison knows that she's like, "Yep, this is my fucking hell."
Yeah, but as a viewer, you just think that's Madison and like
being Madison.
Mm-hmm. You don't know that she knows I'm in my own personal hell, and like she's just acting that way because what else the fuck is she really gonna do?
Right. But it is a big deal that she knows that she's in her own hell.
Oh yeah, that's a very big deal because Michael talks about that. But I was just saying, like, when you're first watching the scene, you just think it's her being her, right? You're like, "Oh, still a bitch,"
Right. So when he approaches her, he's like, I'm the guy who's gonna get you out of here," and she's like, "What do I have to do? Like, blow you or something?"
Yeah, and then she's like, "No, I mean I would because it's been a very long time." Like,
she's like, "You're a snack, and I haven't had a good dicking in forever." And they always make sure that the personal massagers are out of stock. And then at some point, like in that conversation, Queenie interrupts, and she's like,
Damn, a hoe even in the afterlife, huh?
And like Madison sees her and like actually like gives her a friendly hug, and Queenie's like, "Get off me, bitch."
Yep. Funny relationship.
Yeah,
Odd Couple style.
Just like, I wish I could just play the audio for this entire like interaction between the three of them, because Queenie at one point's like, she's like, "I don't know why he came to get you. I tried to convince him on the fucking way down here not to bring you."
That's true. She did say that.
And so,
which at the same time you go, I know she's kind of half serious, but I know she's kind of joking at the same time. Like,
yeah, she's like, if you could turn around and not get her, that's fine. But so they're like, why are you bringing us out of our hell? Why are you doing this, that, and the other? He's like, you guys are here to prove a point for me. Like, I need both of you to prove this point. Is I can get you out of the Hotel Cortez, which is something Cordelia could do, and I can literally go into hell and get you out of hell. So what else do you want? Like how much more? What more displays do you need of my power? So back at the Hawthorne Academy, Cordelia, like they're standing up to leave. This is after she's closed the meeting, and she senses something. You can see her kind of like hesitate and kind of like, get like, a little weird, like little, like her eyes kind of roll back a little bit, but she kind of recovers, and the witches are all getting ready to leave, and they like kind of, I like how they like have to walk through this whole, like, everybody from the Hawthorne school like has to like give them the stank eye as they're walking out. Like everybody. Moore is there with his cigarette.
Well, yeah, man. She was also being super high and mighty. Like, she wasn't even entertaining their idea. Like, I can't believe you guys even were dumb enough to fucking call this and suggest this.
Yeah.
Like, yada, yada, yada. So, of course, like, she's going to get stink eyes, like, rolling out of there. Yeah, it was kind of funny watching her, like, talk down to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just, no matter what they tried or pushed, it was, what are you going to do?
Right.
What are you going to do? This isn't fucking happening. Like, I sit here, I make the rules, and it's like, damn. And then old Michael comes trotting
Well,
up.
but I want to go back real quick. When they first asked for the test of 7 wonders, did you notice how Cordelia's, like, what you're talking about right there about how she's like, I'm not entertaining this. What are you going to do? Did you notice Zoe's face when they said that? Like, she almost gave like that, like, bitchy teenager, like, please. Like, so she's already in on it too. Like, we're way better than you. Like, even Zoe at the table is just like, she didn't even like hide the emotions that she was putting off there. And I was like, damn, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Like all y'all.
Like, I know the arguments between you two, but I'm going to get my little piece in over here and just be like,
you guys are stupid. Your testosterone.
Like, I'm not even the Supreme and I'm better than y'all.
Right.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I can change a rose into a goddamn red. What? Look how fucking awesome. What do you think you can do? Put a glass sphere together? Big fucking deal.
Put my rose in that vase.
Right. It's like we're made for each other. Okay, anyways. So they all leave.
Warlock and Witches, the romance.
The three of the witches are walking out of they're on the ground level. And as they're walking out, Langdon and the two girls, and Langdon, like, I love whatever he changed into, like his cloak with his fucking chain across it and shit. I was like, dude, that's on point. Like, that looks good. Like, I like that. So
I was like, I saw that and I immediately thought of that. And I was like, I want to wear that every time I get out of the shower. Like, I want it to be like a towel for me somehow. Like, that's what I dry myself off in and be like, yes.
Yep.
This is fucking cool.
I look good.
Yep.
I actually had to tweet about it, and like when I was watching it again for our notes, I had to take a screenshot of that shit. I was like, that cloak's on point. Like, I don't even care. That shit's awesome. So Cordelia sees them approach, and as they approach, like, she literally like stops in her tracks and faints, passes out, whatever happens to her. And then as like the three, Langdon and Queenie and Madison are approaching, Queenie as soon as Cordelia faints, like, she like books it over to her to like try to help her. And I like how Madison is like, fuck, fine, I'll go over to her and like see if she's doing okay.
Yeah, dude, she does the greatest, like, half a second too late, half-ass trot, like, you're actually gonna play, okay, you're not, I'll be there, fine.
You go run over and see if you're okay, yeah. And then Langdon's just standing there as it cuts the credits, just with his nice pleased look on his face, like, this is exactly what I want to show you. Here I am. Look what I did. Mm-hmm. And Cordelia knows. I don't know what caused her to faint. It'd be cool if, like, Michael did that to her, but, like, I don't know if it's just the shock of those two being there or something more, like, deeper, like, magical, or her just being around Langdon makes her pass out. Who knows? But
did you watch the
trailer for next episode?
Yeah, because they kind of just pretty much tell you.
What'd they say? I watched it. I mean, I saw her have, like, she has some sort of, like, vision during it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, so this pass out is when she has that vision?
Yeah, like, I guarantee that when we watch the next episode,
it starts in the vision?
That was the vision kicking in, dropping her, filling her with all the information, and then the next scene will be her, like, waking up, like, okay. And then, like, kind of like, probably eyeballing Michael. And then she's like, look, we all have to make a plan now.
Yeah.
Like, this dude is going to fucking ruin us.
Right. It'll pretty much, she'll just look to the other three or the four councilmen and be like, what have you done? Like, what have you done bringing him here?
Well, yeah, and I guarantee what's going to happen is you're going to have her go to the Warlock guys, tell them what it is.
Convince them, maybe.
What's going on. 3 of them are going to be like, you just don't want to not be top dog anymore. Blah, 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 blah. The one dude's going to be like, nah, she's fucking right. Something's wrong with that dude. And that's probably where it's all going to start going south for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that'll be the initial skirmish, but they both know that it's a long end game. And so that's probably when you'll run into the, like, Mallory getting prepped. And then, like, the nukes going off and, like, all this. It's just counter terrorism the whole fucking time.
Yeah, I really don't see how the next episode 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, so the next 5 episodes aren't all in this flashback. And then, like, episode 10 is back to the present with, like, the big giant fight and then the finale of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything else should still... Like, I don't think we should go back to the room with Coco and Dinah and all them in it until... I mean, if we're just getting little tiny glimpses of it, like we did this episode, I don't think it'll be more than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe.
It's going to be all the Warlock witches and Langdon drama that led up to the... I want to know I want to know what he did to make those bombs go off. To make those get fired from every nation. Like, I love... I want to know this. This is the part of the story that I want to know, and... The way you told it to me, I don't hate it because I usually, as myself personally, hate flashbacks. Just tell me the story and end it, you know, just tell me the story chronologically. But I'm okay with this because I had a really good time watching this episode. I did.
I'm glad you approve of it.
That's great.
I'm glad the flashbacks didn't ruin it for
you. That's how I judge when a show is really good, is when it's doing something that would normally bug me in television and I'm loving it. Like, I'm eating it up. Because usually I'd be like, fuck, why don't you just fucking tell me the story from front to back and just do it, and then, like, get pissed about it, and then, but now I'm not. Now I'm like, yeah, now tell me the story. You got me set up. Let's do it.
You fucking hated Choose Your Own Adventures, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to just flip back and pick the path that got me to stay alive. You're right, I did.
You're like, I fucking died, goddamn
it. Hold this page.
Yep.
All right, well, that's episode 4. That was awesome. I can't wait for this week's episode coming up. It's going to be great. Every episode.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Based on what they've pushed out the last 2 episodes, like, I can't foresee any episode like episode 2 the rest of the way out. I just don't. With all the shit that needs to happen, even if they flash forward to us just like going, okay, he apparently made a lot of bad shit happen and it's just them fighting. There's no way you can have a slow, like, episode unless they really just go, we're going to take you inside the war room. Then you're like, fuck me, man. Like, right. I don't care about the planning. I don't care about the goddamn planning.
What you're saying is there's no way they can fuck this up. But somewhere in the back of your mind, you're like, please don't have fucked this up somewhere down the road.
Yeah, dude. Because the way American Horror Story has treated me over the years, there's always the potential.
Right. For it to go downhill quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
This season feels more thought out in these 4 episodes than the entirety of last season.
Oh yeah,
which
hands down.
Which leads back to our theory of the fact that they made the writers write last season in like a month, and they already had this season planned for last season.
Yeah, probably.
That's what it felt like. So, anyways, any last words? Are you ready to rock and roll with this week's episode soon? Couple days.
Yeah, that's right. Couple days. Nah, man, I'm good. It was a good episode. I mean, they're making me happy. I definitely can't fucking complain about it.
Yep.
I hope I catch one of them on Twitter again and be like, hey, you're doing really fucking good this year. Just to let you know, I said a lot of bad shit last year. Not sure if you heard it, but you're doing good this year.
Right. Yeah, we haven't had any conversation with Sarah Paulson like we did last year.
No,
I tried.
No. You know what's funny, man? Like, I still get amazed sometimes, like, because I'll have like a verified person follow me, and I really know it doesn't take a whole fuck lot to be verified on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Like, you just got to be the dude that does what you say you do, and like you're kind of there. But I'm always like, part of me goes, yeah, that's right. Big Star noticed me. It's weird how that little check mark just because, like, right, like, same example from last year, like. Even if we knew that was really her, we would have probably still been like, I mean, it could have been somebody else. Like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that it's got that little check by it, we're like, oh, we fucking got the first. Yeah, we nailed it. We got it. We got it.
Yeah, it was too bad you were talking shit about her.
God. Yeah, I mean, it was. I can't stand her cry. Okay. It's just, fuck it. We're talking about it again. I get weirded out when women cry. Like, I don't know what to fucking do for them at that point. Like, because, let's face it, they're stupid tough. Like, when a woman actually, like, breaks down, I'm talking, like, ugly fucking crying, man. Not like, oh, it's joyous, baby. Like, when they're doing that as a man, I personally, because it's only happened to me when it's someone I'm really close to. Like, I just don't witness regular women crying on a regular basis. Like, I don't know what to fucking do. And her crying the way she was crying in that series, like, the fact that it was fake and the fact that it made me feel so goddamn weird about it, like, it's kudos to her. But yeah, I don't know what to fucking do when, like, they start crying like that. I'm like, I'm now useless because I can't help you. Fuck that, dude. I can't. Now you got me thinking about her crying, man. I can't.
It's like, and now my week's over.
Yeah, I gotta go get distracted by something else.
They haven't had her cry one time this whole season, which is great because you don't have to worry about it.
You know what? I'm probably gonna end up playing a game with myself now, like trying to guess if she'll cry at all during this season.
Possibly.
She's played. I tell you, I could see her crying when one of the witches dies. Mm-hmm. Like a real full-blown, like...
Ball.
Yeah. Not like I thought something sad about one of my old friends. Or like her Queenie conversation. Because
right.
she teared up in that.
But
like,
it wasn't...
like that kind of shit, I'm like, hey, man, it sucks. I'm here for you. You got it. But if she goes into that, like, full-blown, I lost someone I truly love, like, crying... the only way I see that happening with her characters, the two we've seen so far this year, is if the young witch that was to her right, because she kind of seems to be her, like, kind of daughterish vibe to it.
Right, Madison.
If she gets killed, and I'm not talking like in the middle of battle, and she's like, no, kind of kill. I'm talking like something like sneaky, like it was set up and it was meant for her, like, hey, I killed your friend just so you could watch. Mm-hmm. Then, like, it'll be one of those where she just fucking loses it. But it'll probably be followed by, like, an immediate explosion of exponential magic. So you're like, fuck yeah, let's see what you got.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you. There's not a way that they can mess up the next 6 episodes. Please don't do it because it's going to, it's going so well and it's going in the right direction and it cannot be anything but entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, the way they've done it so far is, like, they have just set that bar up there, but somehow they managed to, like, secure it. They're like, it's not moving. Just to let you know.
Yep.
And I'm so excited for it.
Yep. With that, thank you for tuning into the Two Dads Review podcast. We thank everybody who made it this far. You're our favorite listeners. And we will catch you guys next week for episode 5.
Later, guys.